Want to talk like a New Yorker? Today, you will discover how real people actually speak in the city. Don't forget to hit the like button, and let's dive in.
Hey Liam, is it possible to learn the real conversations people have in New York?
Yes, absolutely. And the best way is to practice the same phrases that New Yorkers use every day.
Is that why I understand lessons but panic in real-life situations?
Sure. Because real people use natural speech patterns instead of textbook sentences.
Wow, does that happen even to intermediate learners?
It happens all the time. Understanding grammar and handling real conversations are completely different skills.
What kinds of conversations make learners freeze the most in New York?
Coffee shops, subway stations, stores, offices, and casual chats with strangers.
Why does my brain suddenly stop working when someone speaks quickly?
Because your brain starts translating instead of just listening naturally.
What is a common New York situation where chunks help immediately?
Ordering coffee is one of the best examples.
Why is ordering coffee so difficult for learners?
Because learners expect formal English, but they hear fast, natural speech instead.
Can you show me what usually happens?
A learner expects to hear, "How may I help you?" But they hear something completely different.
Like what?
A barista might say, "What can I get started for you today?"
Wow, that sounds very different.
It does, but native speakers hear it every day.
What should I do if I hear that sentence?
Simply recognize it as a standard way of asking for your order.
What does the customer say?
Usually something like, "Can I get a medium latte?" And the barista replies, "Sure thing, hot or iced?"
What comes next?
The customer says, "Iced, please." And the barista will often ask, "Anything else?"
What is a natural response to that?
A very common natural response is simply, "That's it."
Why are those specific expressions so important?
Because they appear in thousands of real-life conversations every single day.
Should I memorize them word by word?
No, you should memorize the whole chunk.
Why is that better?
Because your brain retrieves chunks much faster than separate isolated words.
Interesting. Is that how native speakers process language?
Exactly. Native speakers recognize patterns instead of translating everything in their heads.
How can I practice those patterns?
Use shadowing and repeat exactly what you hear.
What is shadowing?
Shadowing is speaking at the same time as the audio, like an echo.
Do I need to understand every single thing first?
Not necessarily, because your understanding actually grows while you imitate the rhythm.
What should I start repeating from that coffee shop example?
Start with chunks like, "Sure thing," "Anything else?" and "That's it."
Is it normal if I sound awkward at first?
Absolutely. Every new skill feels a bit strange in the beginning.
That makes me feel much better. What is another situation that makes learners nervous in New York?
Asking for directions in the subway system. Many learners will ask, "How do I get to Times Square?"
That seems simple enough.
It is, but the response is what usually causes confusion. A local might say, "Take the NQR downtown and get off at 42nd.
Wow, that already sounds fast.
Exactly, and nervous learners often miss the key information because of that speed.
Which parts are the most important to catch?
Focus on action words and chunks like take, get off, transfer, or direct ride.
Why focus just on those words?
Because they carry most of the practical meaning.
Do I need to understand every single detail?
Not at all. You only need enough information to get moving.
What if I really don't understand something?
Just ask a short follow-up question. You can simply say, "Do I need to transfer?"
Is that a common phrase?
Extremely common whenever you're discussing transportation.
What if they give me a really long explanation?
Just hunt for those key chunks instead of trying to process full sentences.
Interesting. So I should hunt for meaning instead of words.
Yes, because at the end of the day, communication is all about meaning.
What is another challenge learners face in New York?
Dealing with small talk when talking to strangers.
Why is small talk so scary?
Because learners think every sentence must be impressive. In reality, most conversations are surprisingly simple.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Someone might ask, "Busy day?" And you can just say, "Yeah, it's been crazy."
That sounds very short.
Exactly. Because real conversations are often short.
What makes that specific phrase so useful?
It shows connection and empathy without requiring a long, complex explanation.
What could happen next in that conversation?
They might say, "Can't wait for the weekend."
And how would I respond naturally to that?
You could simply say, "Same here."
Wow, that is much easier than I expected.
Exactly. Natural English is often incredibly simple.
Interesting. So confidence is not about using difficult vocabulary.
Not at all. Confidence comes from responding naturally and comfortably.
Why do those short expressions sound so native?
Because native speakers use them constantly. They are part of the daily rhythm.
How can I train this kind of simple English?
Practice shadowing complete conversations without stopping.
Without stopping at all?
Correct. Because when you're training, flow is much more important than perfection.
What if I make mistakes while shadowing?
Just keep going and focus entirely on the rhythm.
What comes after learning coffee shops, subway directions, and small talk?
Next comes networking and professional conversations, which is another place where many learners tend to freeze.
Why is it that someone can feel confident ordering coffee, but completely nervous during a professional conversation?
Because work conversations feel higher stakes, so people become terrified of making mistakes.
Does that fear actually affect fluency?
Absolutely, because fear creates hesitation, and hesitation is what interrupts your natural communication.
What kind of networking conversation is most common in New York?
A classic one always starts with someone asking, "So, what do you do?"
Why is that specific question so important?
Because it's almost always the entry point to a professional connection.
How do learners usually respond to it?
Many learners give long, over-explained answers that end up sounding a bit unnatural.
What is a better approach?
Keep it simple. Give a direct answer, add one short detail, and let the conversation flow naturally.
Can you show me an example of that?
Sure, you could say, "I'm a graphic designer, and I've been doing it for about 5 years."
That sounds very simple.
Exactly, because simple, direct answers are often the most effective.
What usually happens after that?
The other person will typically nod and say something like, "That's awesome."
Interesting. So natural communication wins over impressive vocabulary.
Every time. Because at the end of the day, people remember the connection they made, not your vocabulary lists.
How can I become more comfortable speaking that naturally?
By practicing these common conversation patterns, until they feel completely automatic.
What is the biggest lesson from all these New York conversations?
The biggest lesson is that fluency comes from participation, not perfection.
If someone feels nervous speaking English today, what should they remember?
They should remember that every confident speaker was once a beginner.
What should they do tomorrow?
Practice one real conversation and focus on communication instead of perfection.
What happens after months of that practice?
English starts feeling less like a subject and more like a tool for communication.
Wow, that sounds like real fluency.
It really is. Fluency isn't about knowing every word in the dictionary. It's about mastering the connections between them. And that brings us right back to what we mentioned at the very beginning, the secret rhythm of English.
Ah, the secret rhythm. I've been dying to know. What makes it so secret, and how do we actually find it?
All I can say for now is, if you think English is about pronouncing every word clearly, you've been doing it wrong. Next time, we're cracking the code on the beats of English. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. See you there.
See you there. Bye.